All right, let's talk about something that is fundamentally changing clinical trials. I mean, think about it. Getting an accurate picture of a patient's health is the whole ballgame. Today, we're going to jump right into a technology that's doing just that by capturing the patient's own voice directly, accurately, and in real time. And look, this isn't some far-off sci-fi dream. This is the reality made possible by what we call electronic clinical outcome assessments, or eCOA. It's all about turning a patient's day-to-day experience, their own story, into powerful, actionable data. Data that can improve not just the trial, but can literally keep patients safer. Now, to really get why eCOA is such a breakthrough, we first have to understand what it's replacing. And that's the old-school pen and paper diary. For decades, this was how it was done. But man, it came with some serious problems. This right here is probably one of the biggest issues. It's called the parking lot effect. And it's pretty much exactly what it sounds like. A patient shows up for their appointment, realizes they have a whole month of empty diary pages, so they just sit in their car and fill it all out from memory minutes before they walk in. The pages look full, but is that data accurate? Not at chance. And if you think that's just an exaggeration, check this out. There was this landmark study back in 2002 in the British Medical Journal. They gave patients paper diaries with a hidden chip inside that tracked every single time the diary was opened. The result? On the surface, about 90% of the entries looked like they were done on time. But the chip told the real story. Only 11%, just 11%, could be confirmed as being filled out on the right day. The rest, all filled in after the fact. So you see the night and day difference here, right? With paper, you're just battling all these problems. Missing data, handwriting you can't even read, entries that don't make sense, and you have no idea when it's happening. Digital eCOA completely flips the script. It uses timestamps, so you know the data is real time. It has built-in logic, so a patient can't enter conflicting answers. And it sends reminders to help people stay on track. It is a total upgrade for data integrity. So how does this whole digital solution actually work? Well, eCOA is really the modern answer to all those problems with paper, and it's designed from the ground up to capture the patient experience with incredible precision. The best way to think about eCOA is like a big umbrella. It's not just one specific app or device. It's really a catch-all term for a whole category of tools. So basically, if you're using a digital platform, could be a phone, a tablet, even a web browser, to collect data on how a patient is feeling or functioning, you're using eCOA. Now, what's hiding under that umbrella is pretty interesting. There are 4 main types of outcomes we're looking at. First up, you have patient-reported outcomes, or ePROs. This is the big one, where patients directly tell us about things like their pain or fatigue. Then there are clinician-reported outcomes, which are a doctor's or nurse's professional observations. You also have observer-reported outcomes, which might come from a caregiver or a parent, super important for patients who can't report for themselves. And finally, performance outcomes, which actually measure a patient doing a specific task, like a timed walk test. So what's the big payoff? Why go through all this? Well, the benefits are huge. First, the data quality is just on another level. But it's also about the patient experience. It's more convenient using tech they already have in their pocket. And for the study teams, it's a massive efficiency boost. You get rid of all that manual data entry from paper to a computer, which means you get cleaner data right from the start. And that speeds up the whole process, leading to what's called a faster database lock, which basically means you get to the final results way faster. But let's be real for a second. eCOA isn't some silver bullet you use in every single trial. Knowing when to use it, and just as importantly, when not to use it, is absolutely key. It's a powerful tool, for sure, but you gotta use it in the right context. There are definitely situations where using eCOA is pretty much non-negotiable. I'm talking about if a patient diary is being used for your main primary endpoint. You absolutely need the highest quality data you can get. It's also critical in rare disease studies, where literally every single piece of data is precious, or for things like monitoring suicidal thoughts, where those real-time alerts are vital for keeping patients safe. On the flip side, though, there are times where eCOA might be overkill. In an acute ICU or an emergency room setting, patients are often in no condition to be self-reporting on a device. And for some really short studies, like certain pharmacokinetic trials, those are the ones that look at how a drug moves through the body, adding a whole eCOA component might just add complexity for no real benefit. The point is, choosing the right method is just as important as the tech itself. Okay, so let's say you've decided eCOA is the right fit for your study. Awesome! What's next? A successful rollout isn't just about picking a cool app. It takes some serious planning and execution. So let's walk through a simple playbook for how to get it right. It really boils down to 5 key stages. First off, you've got to align with your technology provider, making sure their platform can actually do what your trial needs it to do. Second, you handle all the boring but crucial stuff, like licensing for the questionnaires and getting them translated for global trials. Third is the actual design and build of the system. Fourth, you have rigorous user acceptance testing, or UAT, which is basically a fancy way of saying the study team kicks the tires and makes sure everything works perfectly. And finally, you have to provide great training and ongoing support for both the patients and the clinic staff. When you strip everything else away, eCOA is really about one thing. It's about digitizing the patient's voice. It makes sure that voice is heard clearly and without any of the distortion you get with paper. But the real goal here goes way beyond just collecting clean data. So I'll leave you with this question to chew on. As we get better and better at capturing this voice, how do we make sure it actually leads to better, more responsive, and more compassionate care?